Nicole. Thank you for joining me on another video. I am so sorry these been kind of sporadic. Um, with my new job, which yesterday made 1 full month that I've been there. Um, it's been a time getting used to things because I've always had jobs that everything was laid out. I knew what to do. Even when I worked at a fast food, and I may not have always worked the same station. Some days I worked, most days I worked register. Some days I worked packing. I still knew what needed to be done in those stations, and there wasn't really a need to plan ahead other than trying to figure out if it was going to be a busy day or something like that. Um, excuse me. But this job, nothing is planned out. I have to do the planning, me, with my neurodivergent mind. And so it's been an odyssey. I'm getting there. But the job itself, I love. I love being able to get help families that were in a position that I was once in some 17 years ago. And my clients, I am literally full with cases. I don't have room for any more except maybe a couple of days a week I might be able to do family support. So I'm already full. And um, my families run the gamut from single mom, single dad, and married couples. So, and I'm loving it. And I'm couple of my couples, couple of my clients are actually immigrants, and so that's pretty cool too because I get to learn about other cultures, and it's I just love helping people. Um, the downside is what I want to talk about in the video today. It's something that my therapist and I had prepared for. Um, the moment I found out that the company wanted to hire me, and that was memories coming up. The good thing is that I'm not getting triggered. I'm not getting fight or flight mode, or I'm not, you know, perceiving any threat. My body's not reacting at all, which is wonderful news. But I'm feeling all of these feelings that I thought I had dealt with some 17 years ago. But in re-dealing with those feelings, I realized I didn't have room to deal with those feelings back then because I was so busy dealing with the state, trying to jump through all the hoops they were putting in front of us, and dealing with my ex, because of course one of the dumbest things he did, and yeah, I said it, was trying to make me look bad, trying to take the blame off of himself. So he gave the social worker all kinds of false information of how he was supposedly suicidal and not necessarily wanting to kill himself, but just not wanting, figuring that maybe it would be better if he wasn't around, and because I'm such a horrible wife, and that enabled the case to go on farther than it could have. Because at the point he did this, um, they were close to phasing the kids back in the home. And then he told the social worker this, and she used that against us. And the kids ended up being out of home for over a year. And so, and this was a caseworker that was bent from the beginning on keeping the kids away permanently. Her end goal was to have my two youngest adopted out, and my oldest uh, stay in custody in a group home until he was 18 and aged out of the system. And that was her goal. Thankfully, she's no longer a social worker, and I could do a whole video on that alone. Maybe one day I will, but not today. So going through all of this, I couldn't express to him my frustration of the system and dealing with everything going on, because for one, that would only get him madder, because in his feeble mind, it was all my fault. Yes, the process started because I was homeschooling and didn't fill out the right paperwork, so the school thought it was truancy. Started out as a no-fault case. They realized that it was unintentional. I put the kids back in school, figured I'll just get them in school, get this closed, and then it'll give me time to fill out the paperwork for the following year. Because I live in Nebraska, and Nebraska is actually pretty easy to homeschool, but you still have to let them know. And so, and everything was about to close when we moved to a different county, got a new social worker, and she saw how he was. And so instead of being willing to try to help me leave, instead she was bent on removing the kids permanently. And so I'm trying to fight an uphill battle to prevent my kids from being taken away permanently and fighting him. So I didn't have time to process any of those feelings. Not to mention, I wouldn't have known how. Anyway. So, and then after the kids came back, I wanted to put, and the case was closed a few months after that, I wanted to put everything behind me. And I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I had kept a journal of during that time, and I didn't even want to read the journal. To be honest, I haven't really read the journal since, I think I may have read some of the pages once, but I could never get through the whole thing. But anyway, so now that I'm dealing with families that are going through similar to what I went through, bits and pieces. You know, one family's going through this, one family's going through that. It's bringing up a lot. And then I have a family trying to be vague here, that one is being abused, and that's why the state stepped in, because the abuse was happening in front of the children. And this parent is scared to leave for a number of reasons. And the parent was expressing to me at our visit this week the frustration of not having control, of not being able to decide where your children go, or even decide who you can have over when your children are there. The state decides. And I totally get that because I remember what that felt like. I just wanted to scream and just yell at the world. But of course, I couldn't. I had to focus on getting my kids back and damage control. So, I guess now that I'm kind of sort of reliving things, these feelings are coming up. And like I said, my therapist and I prepared for this. And so at least my body's not reacting, but dealing with the feelings. And so that's what I want to talk about is let yourself feel. You know, if there's feelings coming up that you never had a chance to deal with, don't stuff them. Don't even fuss at yourself and say, what is this coming up for? This was X number of years ago. I'm allowing myself to feel them. Yes, I put myself in a safe place. Um, like I'll wait till I get home, or at least in my van with nobody around, just me and my van. Um, Thank heavens my van can't talk. But so I'll put my, I'll allow I'll hold off until I get into a safe spot, but I'll let myself feel. Like this morning, I woke up and I was so crying and weepy. Y'all, my emotions have been going all over the place. I feel like a teenager. The way my emotions have been just running the gamut. And I didn't have anywhere to go at that point, so I allowed myself to feel. And I just allowed myself to cry. And in doing that, I was better within, I want to say 10 minutes, but it might have actually been less than that. It might have been closer to 5. Uh, but if I'd have stuffed those feelings, it would have been way longer. Because in stuffing those feelings, they'd have tried to come out later, and there would have been the feelings I stuffed and additional feelings. So always allow yourself to feel. No matter how old those the feelings are, feelings that are associated with an incident or a time in your life, doesn't matter how old they are. Allow yourself to feel, because if they're coming up, it evidently means that you hadn't had a chance to deal with them. Just like I hadn't had a chance, because when we were going through the system, I basically had no one until I got a family support worker that helped me, and I could vent to her, and I was so grateful for her. She helped me find my voice, start advocating for myself, and that's what started the ball rolling, the case picking up momentum and moving along a lot quicker. And I was so grateful for her helping me find my voice, because I thought for sure that I didn't have a right to speak my mind or state my opinions or my feelings. And it's like, yeah, you have every right to stick up for yourself. And so that's what I want to help others. And so I was able to vent to my family support worker, but that was limited because I couldn't always call her anytime, day or night, because sometimes I called, she was busy with other clients because I was not her only client. And I couldn't reach out on the weekend because she was off on the weekends. And she didn't answer the phone. In fact, she turned her work phone off on the weekends. So I had nobody on the weekends and nobody a lot of the time. And so I guess I just learned to stuff those feelings because I had to move on. I had to do what could to get my kids back. And so I guess now, in reliving all of this, I'm feeling those feelings again. But as if I've just gone through them. So that's why I'm now allowing myself to feel. And then I'm also, like I started off the video with, I have a very neurodivergent mind. Like I said, all my other jobs, I knew what my duties were, and I knew what had to be done within those duties. You know, if I was working register, I knew that I would take orders, take the money, help pack, wipe down tables, refill cups. I knew that. If I was filling orders, I would pack, make sure that bags and stuff were filled, plates and stuff, serving plates, and wash dishes. If I closed, I knew that as a packer, I had to break down the holding the holding containers. My brain. I knew what to do. And even as a call center worker, I sat at a desk and navigated on the computer all day while talking to people. I mean, y'all, I literally was talking and navigating at the same time, and even checking messages on my phone if I felt my phone vibrate and saw that I got a text message. I would literally be on the phone talking with a customer, paying attention to them, and texting at the same time, or typing a remark or something. So, but it was still the same thing. I could probably do it in my sleep. In fact, I did because a lot of times I dreamt about that. But this, I've got to figure out, plan my week. Okay, I got this visit on this day, this visit on this day. I got to keep track of all of that. I have to confirm with the parent the day before. Hey, look, are you going to still be able to make the visit? Yes. Okay. We try to confirm the day before, so that way if they can't, the kids aren't disappointed the day of. And it also reminds the parents. And then confirm with the foster parent, try to nail down a foster parent and say, okay, where do we meet you to pick up the kiddo? Do we meet you here? Do we meet, doing all of this, and then documenting the visit, entering in the mileage, the case, my brain is like about to explode because I've got to do all of that myself. It's not already partially done, if that makes sense. So I've been dealing with anxiety because, not proud of this, I'm a procrastinator. Partially because of my anxiety. I get nervous about something new, so I don't know how to handle it. And I put it off because I can't handle it at that point. to the point where I have to handle it, and then I get through fine, and it takes 5-10 minutes to do. And so I'm learning to get past that and try not to procrastinate. But it's not easy. Old habits die hard. But I get to learn, so I'm loving it. And this past weekend, today is May 5th. Um, but this past weekend, April 29th and 30th, was a wonderful whirlwind. On the 29th, a friend and I went to the Mercy Me concert, and oh my goodness, she got video of me dancing. Yeah, I was dancing, and I knew she was taking video of me, and I didn't care. I loved it. It was wonderful. They put on a great show. They're very personable. It was really a blessing. And then the next morning, this was in Omaha, and I live in Lincoln, an hour away. So by the time I got home after the concert, dealing with traffic and all of that, it was roughly about midnight, after midnight actually. By the time I got to bed, it was closer to 1 o'clock. And then I had to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to leave for Omaha no later than 7, so I could be at a trauma therapy conference for 8:30, and then that was 8 to 3:30, or 8:30 to 3:30, and then I went then at 6 o'clock, another conference in Omaha. So I just stayed in Omaha. I visited a friend for a couple of hours because I wasn't going to go all the way back home, because I would have literally, the moment I got home, I'd have literally had to turn around and come back. So I went to this conference, and it was such a blessing because it was with Jamie Finn from Foster the Family. She and I met over Instagram and have become great friends. And I finally got to see her in person and to hear about her book. And I did get her book. In fact, I talked about it last video, I think. And it's a good book. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a foster parent. But it helped me with some insights too with my job, or it's helping me because I'm in the process of reading it. And so getting to meet her has been such a blessing. And then I came home from that. I didn't get home from Omaha until about 10:30 that night, and I had to go to church the next morning. So it was a busy weekend, but I loved it. In fact, this is a shirt I got from Foster the Families. She also has an organization that sells merchandise, Goods and Better. They have some cute stuff. Y'all, I've been looking at some of those things, and I've been so tempted. But I went to the conference, and I saw this, and I couldn't pass it up. I had to. And my life has been so different over the past 6 months alone. Things have been changing for the better. I feel like I'm finally healing. Like I said, things that are coming up, old memories. It's just the memories that are coming up. My body is no longer reacting. So my theory is that my body is finally realizing that I'm safe and that I don't have to worry about anything. So just the memories are coming up and not my body relaxing, like, reacting, like my legs tightening. Because, y'all, when I get uptight, my legs will be tighter than a drum. And I can't keep my legs still. Um, so healing does happen. I mean, it's taken me 2 years, over 2 years, to get to this point. So allow yourself the time. Allow yourself to feel, and allow yourself the time, and don't put a specific time. Everybody heals differently. Some can heal quicker than others, some slower than others. Grief is individual. Um, Allow yourself to grieve the situation for what it could have been. Allow yourself to grieve the loss of the life you thought you had or the life you wanted. Allow that, and trust me, it'll help. Because when I started allowing my feelings and grieving what I thought my life should be, and grieving what I thought my life was, for the reality of what it truly was, that is when I really started the process of healing. So y'all have a good day, a good rest of your week, and stay blessed. Bye.